So, gay marriage is a hot topic today, and I have pretty mixed feelings about it. Homosexuality is old as the Epic of Gilgamesh. Rome and Greece both engaged in homoerotic behavior. Actually, the first society to pass laws against that sort of thing, and particularly against victimizing children, were Norway and Iceland. And then when you see the culture that Rome evolved into, and the Roman Catholic Church is the ghost of the Roman Empire, and then you look at what the Viking nations progressed into, and you get a very different perspective. I think that homosexuals need to be psychologically evaluated after high school or during high school because of ostracism, ridicule, and bullying. Not everyone is strong enough to transmute them. And such treatment at such a developmental age could have some very negative ramifications indeed. And if this is unchecked, it becomes a suicidal disregard that festers and becomes worse. And there were people called the berserkers. They were of Gothic and Ostrogothic, ancient Swedish ethnic origin. And they lived apart from the heterosexuals, and they were the most aggressive in battle. They would show suicidal disregard for themselves in battle, yet they would inflict numerous casualties. And that's where the phrase going berserk comes from. And so, where I think they should be in the military if they choose to be, they don't necessarily need to be getting married, but for that matter, most people don't need to be getting married, but particularly gay people, because drug use and rampant promiscuity is very much prevalent, and people being treated for HIV with government grants and charity grants continue to be reckless, and it's just depleting a resource needlessly, and to not worry about reinfection is very irresponsible. And for the most part, men in general think with their genitalia, where if women were in power, the sorts of blunders that are made on a bigger scale wouldn't be made. There's lots of evidence to suggest that there is a suicidal disregard or a berserker mentality among gay people. And one of my favorite books, Frank Herbert's The Dosadi Experiment, we have a leader of these people that live on a planet, and they've got a psychic wall enveloping the planet. It's actually a Caliban, and basically the stars have consciousness in this particular universe, the consentiency universe that Frank Herbert wrote about. And her name is Gendrick, and she is explaining to them about the death fanatics. It's a certain element of her army. She answered his questions about them with candor, often using him openly to clarify her own thoughts. But death fanatics? Are these fanatics homosexual? She pounced. How'd you know? A guess. What difference would it make? Are they? Yes. McKee shuddered. She was peremptory. Explain. When humans for any reason go terminal where survival of their species is concerned, it's relatively easy to push them the short step further into wanting to die. You speak from historical evidence? Yes. Example. With rare exceptions, primitive humans of the tribal eras reserved their homosexuals as the ultimate shock troops of desperation. They were the troops of last resort, sent into battle as berserkers, who wanted to die. She had to have the term berserkers explained, then showed by her manner that she believed him. She considered this, and then, what does your consentiency do about this susceptibility? We take sophisticated care to guide all natural sexual variants into constructive survival activities. We protect them from the kinds of pressures which might tip them over into behavior destructive of the species. Only later had McKee realized she had not answered his question beyond what. She brushed him off to a conference room where more than 20 humans were assembled, including the two parents who'd made the chart about Tria and Gar. McKee realized he didn't even know their names. So there's also extensive documentation on this, and I think it's ironic that the church has so many priests who have had unnatural psychological problems due to the celibacy, because anything that you deny gains power and manifests in strange and spectacular ways. And the Catholic Church is one of the biggest adversaries of gay rights. Now, I think we ought to really make sure that we put away the pains of the past before we push for marriage. And I don't think we're ready. I don't think gay people should be adopting kids either, because it takes a mother and a father. To suggest that we can omit a maternal presence is very irresponsible and must be countered. And you should be ashamed. You should be ashamed of yourselves for thinking that's possible. That's pretty much how I feel on the subject. How many of you, haven't gone scavenger hunting on the strip? Run into some interesting people there, certainly.